Just a reminder, this is the review of a manga reader's perspective. I will try not to spoil, but there will be times that it might slip up. And in this batch of 3 episodes, the main conflict being person versus person is what I like to consider the ending of the first act, with the first trilogy of conflicts. With Ichikawa and Yamada beginning to have the claim of ownership towards each other through their crushes over each other, they've created this cute little bubble that they feel only they truly know each other, besides maybe Yamada's BFF, who Ichikawa considers her boyfriend, and they'd rather others not feel invited into this bubble. Although Ichikawa's main issue is his own person versus self, instead of trying to battle his own feelings, it's more so that he doesn't feel the world where society would accept an outcast, such as himself, being with a popular girl like Yamada. It shows both how little he feels about himself in regards to how others see him, as well as acknowledging social hierarchy and feeling that it matters to Yamada. And maybe she does want to be popular. She also looks at their relationship as a secret, because as originally stated in this video, both characters feel a claim of ownership towards each other. Some prime examples being the desk chapter, with Ichikawa making sure the perv friend doesn't get to flirt with her, while Yamada being equally as jealous when he shares notebooks with a chubby girl. And same as with the line exchange chapter, with Yamada being immediately pissed off when another girl asks for his line and he gives it to her, as well as Ichikawa flipping out when he realizes that she wanted his line, as she uses the same pickup dialogue she used with him earlier and he accidentally brushed it off. And others like the switching of gym sweaters, Ichikawa being both mad at her line on the TV show getting cut but relieved at the same time, or the subtle way they like when Yamada's bestie Kobayashi was with them in the library, and Yamada would casually pull her away from Ichikawa when she seemed to be a little too close with him. My favorite things about these episodes though is the build up and punchlines to every chapter/scene. The "all I see is you" line from Yamada is still one of my favorites. The whole sitcom build up of Ichikawa's mom trying to describe Yamada, with Yamada quietly following behind them, and Ichikawa saying Yamada after she was being described as this unknown beauty because he saw them earlier. Almost every chapter feels this way, which is why the episodes I was looking most forward to. So the biggest thing they did, which was interesting, was combining 2 chapters for the final arc. That being with Ichikawa avoiding and Kobayashi being tricked into hanging out with the pickup senpai. In the manga, the best friend bickering was a short chapter in volume 2, with them resolving it with her making fun of Yamada's height. Meanwhile, Ichikawa senses immediately that he was just used and suddenly taken advantage of, giving the opportunity to push any hopes away with why Yamada and him could have any sort of chance together. While in the anime, Ichikawa observes Kobayashi realizing she's been used and begins to suspect that that's what his and Yamada's friendship was all along. It's not the worst, although it makes him more naive in her actions rather than showing him spiraling back into original viewpoints of her and denying his feelings again, even telling himself he doesn't care about her anymore. But the one thing that both brought out was a satisfying conclusion to the conflict was the reveal of Yamada still having tissues that Ichikawa left for her at the end of episode 3. It's an important piece for their relationship because for Ichikawa it's reveals like that make him actually like her more than her looks. He's always accepted her being good looking, but going back to his hatred for the social hierarchy, he resented her because of her looks. It's all her faults and caring towards her friends that made him truly fall for her, and that small moment reminded him of all that. Accepting that he's afraid to get attached to things and afraid to open up, which becomes big for the next conflict for the relationship, and afraid about caring about things. The final arc should be interesting to see, looking forward to how they push towards the anime conclusion of the first season. Since they sneak peeked Ichikawa's fears at the ending of the first episode, kinda hope we get a poetic circle back to that moment. One of the biggest obstacles Ichikawa is facing is that he's looking for someone who may accept him, or even at least understand him. We did go back to his origins of why he thinks he's different from the flock and tries to isolate himself from others, as well as his interests in murder, so I kind of hope they focus a little more on that than they did on the manga. But to bring it back around for the viewer to feel like the original take wasn't just a bait and switch. Anyways, some very solid episodes with a very well done conclusion to Ichikawa accepting his feelings again, because in a ways, it's towards himself. Looking forward to our first date episode. That's all for now though. Thank you for watching and go read a book.